Good morning, Mr. Child. So you're charged with assault of a family member. You're facing up to a year in jail and or a $4,000 fine.
Officers were dispatched to a disturbance at 70 Carlton Woods Creekside. Law enforcement officers observed a white male sitting on the curb of Kukendall Road, arguing with his girlfriend on a cell phone. Law enforcement officers had received an additional call of a disturbance of two individuals coming from a neighborhood party. They observed the complainant and defendant to be highly intoxicated. An Uber had picked them both up, and they both started fighting in the Uber. The Uber drivers pulled over.
Fighting in the Uber?
In the Uber, yes, Your Honor. The Uber driver pulled over. The Uber driver stated to officers that the defendant was slapping and punching the complainant, who was the defendant's girlfriend. And the Uber driver had called the security officer on duty to get help with the situation. I'm sorry, Your Honor. It's reading directly.
DVD's here. I don't know if Sebastian's had a chance to even look at it yet.
Stay close to that area, will you? Don't come here. Stay close to that area.
Okay, sorry.
So we're just doing PC. All I've heard so far is that they're both highly intoxicated, arguing. He's allegedly punching and slapping in an Uber car. That's all I've heard so far.
So then Uber driver pulled over, called the security officer on duty. But the defendant got out and started walking. The security guard followed him until he got to the beginning of the subdivision. Then officers arrived and observed the defendant on the sidewalk. Officer tried to talk to the defendant. And the defendant started to tell the officer, quote, "Leave me the fuck alone. You people are a piece of shit, and that's all you'll do is treat people with no respect." The defendant started walking towards the officer, dropped the pill bottles, and kept saying, "Leave me alone, get away from me." Officer asked the defendant what it was that they're trying to hide. Defendant said that that's my marijuana. Defendant was combative, telling the officer to fuck off. Officer made contact with the complainant witness, said they were a party, they both got drunk and started fighting when they got in the Uber. And the complainant witness stated that she did not feel pain. I think that's where we're at.
Do they see any visible injuries, anything of this nature?
As far as that goes, what's in the DIMS here is that the witness stated that he observed the defendant with enough force that she covered her face, fell to the floor, and that the witness observed the complainant based on her actions to appear to be in pain. Specifically that the punch was of such a force that it caused her to fall to the floor of the vehicle and cover her face after she was punched. I think that's where we're at with that.
Again, Judge, to answer your question, there's no indication that there were any injuries at all, any marks, and as he just read, she said she did not feel pain, she did not want to press charges, and I have an affidavit on prosecution as well that I'm going to be getting to the state.
Yeah, so as far as bodily injury goes, of course, we don't need necessarily direct evidence. Pain can be something that can be inferred based on conduct. We understand that, a punch of a certain amount of force from a witness's perspective.
Did they get any statements from the person who saw the punch
That was the Uber driver. And that's what the Uber driver said, that based on what they saw, the punch had enough force that it caused her to fall to the ground, covering her face.
The officer goes to interview the complaining witness, I'm assuming, and doesn't see anything?
I don't see any indication that they saw anything.
And she says, I felt okay. And I do not want to press charges.
Mr. Child, there are people in life when they drink, they're the life of the party, they're fun to be around. And then there are those when they consume alcohol, they turn into aggressive, mean son of a bitch they have no business drinking. If this is you, don't drink. You have but one life. You start racking up cases, you start racking up convictions. All you're doing is you're hurting yourself. Be nice and good things happen. You're aggressive to cops. You're aggressive here. I mean, the only reason I'm finding no probable cause is because they wrote this report completely, just utterly terrible. And it's over and over and over. But Don't drink if you're going to be in jail. You know, really, we have enough death and dismemberment in our city now as it is. Don't be on the news. All right, I'm going to find no probable cause.
Thank you, Judge.